I swear if someone told me my best friend would turn into a whole different person the second I got a rich boyfriend, I would have laughed in their face, but now I'm the one sitting here like, oh, so this is what betrayal feels like. It started the week I met Jaden, my then boyfriend, who was like low-key disgustingly rich but acted super chill about it. Like designer sneakers, always accidentally paying for everything, driving a car that made people stop and stare in parking lots, that type of situation. And the second my best friend Mia found out, it was like she got rebooted like a broken iPhone. Before that, she was barely texting me back, leaving me on delivered for hours, canceling plans with some "I'm tired" excuse. And suddenly she's calling me every morning like, "Girl, what are you wearing today?" And showing up to my house uninvited with Starbucks like we're in a teen movie again. And I should have known something was off because Mia does not do effort unless there's something in it for her, like at all. The first weird moment was when she met Jaden, and suddenly she's giggling at everything he says, even when he's just breathing normally. And she starts doing this fake soft voice like, "OMG, that's so interesting," while touching her hair every 5 seconds. And I'm sitting there like, girl, what? Then after he leaves, she's like glued to my side again, asking a million questions about his job, his family, how rich he actually is, but in that subtle way like she's just curious. But I know Mia, she's not curious, she's calculating. That's when she dropped the first bomb casually like it was nothing, saying, "You know, you're so lucky. Guys like that don't usually go for girls like us." And I was like, us? Speak for yourself? But I laughed it off because I thought she was just being weirdly self-deprecating. Until she started showing up more and more whenever Jaden was around. Like she somehow always happened to be free at the same time. And one day she literally said, "I think he likes me a little." And I choked on my drink so hard I almost died. And she just laughed like she was joking but didn't take it back. Didn't even hesitate. Just let it sit there in the air like she planted it on purpose. And that's when I felt that weird shift in my stomach, like something was already moving behind my back. Then things escalated fast, like suspiciously fast. Because Mia started posting indirect stories on Instagram like luxury brunches and captions like, "Manifesting my soft life era," even though she was broke last week complaining about bus fare. And suddenly she's asking to borrow my outfits for aesthetic pics, and I'm like, sure, whatever. But she always makes sure to wear them when she knows Jaden is going to see them. Like she's dressing for his attention specifically. And I caught her one time standing way too close to him while I was in the bathroom, laughing a little too hard at something he said. And when I walked in, she straight up jumped like she got caught doing something illegal. That's when Jaden himself started acting different too. Not in an obvious cheating way, but like he'd mention her randomly in conversation like, "Mia's funny," or "Mia has good taste." And I'm sitting there like, why are you even ranking my best friend's personality? And Mia starts texting me things like, "He seems kinda into me, don't you think?" And I swear my soul left my body, because what do you even respond to that without flipping a table? But I tried to stay calm and told her she was being delusional. And she hit me with, "You're just insecure, lol." And I literally stared at my phone for a full minute like, excuse me? Then out of nowhere, she invites me to this rooftop party Jaden is hosting, which already felt weird because I didn't even know he was throwing anything, and she's like, "You should come, it'll be fun," in this overly sweet voice like she's doing me a favor. And something about it felt off, like I was walking into a setup I didn't agree to, but I still went because I'm not about to let her think she can move weird around my relationship. The second I get there, I see her already there with him, standing close enough that from a distance they looked like a couple, and she's laughing again. That same laugh she only uses when she's trying too hard. And Jaden looks at me like nothing is wrong but doesn't move away from her, doesn't correct the distance, just stays there like I'm the extra one in the picture. And that's when Mia walks over to me, grabs my hand and says, "Don't be mad, I think I just understand him better." And I swear everything in me froze because who even says that to their best friend? Like, be serious right now. And I'm about to respond when Jaden suddenly gets a call, steps away, and Mia leans in and whispers something I wasn't supposed to hear like, "He's not as loyal as you think?" And my entire body just went cold because she wasn't smiling when she said it. She was serious, dead serious. Like she was already halfway out the door with him mentally. And before I could even process that, I saw Jaden across the rooftop looking at me, but not alone. He was showing his phone to someone. And Mia's phone buzzed at the exact same time she smirked. And that's when I realized I shouldn't have come here at all, because whatever they were planning wasn't just messy. It was coordinated. And then Mia looked at me and said, "You might want to check your messages." And my phone lit up right after that, with a text from Jaden that I swear I was not supposed to see. My phone lit up in my hand like it was burning me, and I swear my stomach dropped before I even read it, because the timing alone felt too perfect, too staged, like I was already in the middle of something I didn't agree to. And the message from Jaden said, "We need to talk. Not here, not now. Just come downstairs." Which would have been normal in any other situation, but the fact Mia was standing right there watching me read it like she already knew what it said made my skin crawl a little. And I looked up at her and she had this tiny smile like she was waiting for me to react wrong. And that's when I realized she wasn't just involved in whatever this was, she was directing it. I told her I was going to the bathroom instead of going downstairs because I needed a second to breathe and think without her eyes on me. But as soon as I turned the corner, I saw Jaden already there in the hallway like he was waiting. And I swear he looked stressed but also weirdly calm, like someone who already rehearsed what they were about to say. And before I could even speak, he goes, "I didn't want you finding out like this." And I'm like, finding out what, exactly? Because my brain is already spinning. And then he says Mia told him I was planning to leave him, and I actually laughed out loud because what? I didn't even know where that came from. And that's when he pulls out his phone and shows me messages, screenshots of texts between him and Mia, and I see my name all over them but not in my words. Like she was literally texting him as if she was me, saying things like, "I don't think we're working out," and "You deserve better." And I felt my whole body go numb, because I didn't send any of that. Not a single word. And Jaden is looking at me like I'm either lying or insane, and I'm trying to explain, but he cuts me off like, "Mia said you asked her to help you end things." And I just froze because now it's not even just messy, it's calculated sabotage. Like she was building a breakup that didn't exist and selling it as truth. And that's when I realized she didn't just want him, she wanted me out of the picture first. I went back upstairs fast, heart racing, and Mia is still there leaning on the railing like she owns the place, and she looks at me and goes, "So did you tell him yet?" Like she's asking about homework. And I just stared at her because I needed her to say it out loud, to admit what she did. But she just tilts her head like I'm being slow, and says, "I mean, I helped you, right? You've been unhappy for weeks." And that line alone made me want to scream because she was rewriting my entire life in real time, like she had authority over it. And I told her she literally faked messages and she laughed like I was exaggerating, like I was being dramatic. And then she hits me with, "You should be thanking me. I made it easier for you to leave him without looking like the bad guy." And I swear I almost blacked out because she genuinely believed she did me a favor. That's when Jaden comes back up, sees us together, and his face changes like he's trying to decide who to believe. And Mia immediately grabs my arm and says, loud enough for him to hear, "She's just upset because I told you the truth." And I'm standing there like, "Girl, what truth?" And before I can even defend myself, Jaden says something that completely flips everything. He goes, "Mia, why do you have access to her accounts?" And I blink because I didn't even know what he meant. But then he shows me another screenshot, and I see login alerts, password changes, recovery emails all tied to my stuff. And I turn to Mia so fast I almost lose balance, and she doesn't even deny it. She just shrugs and says, "You were ignoring red flags. I fixed it." Like she's talking about updating an app. And that's when I felt something in me switch from confusion to straight up anger, because this wasn't jealousy anymore. This was control. And I told her to give me my phone right now, and she slowly reaches into her bag like she's about to hand it over. But then she says, "Only if you stop acting crazy in front of him," and looks at Jaden like he's the audience in her little performance. And I swear everything went silent in my head for a second, because I realized she wasn't trying to win him over anymore. She was trying to make me look unstable enough that I'd lose everything without even fighting back. And then my phone buzzes again in her hand, and she tilts it toward me with a smile and says, "Oh, you're going to want to see this one." And that's when I saw a message thread I've never seen before, labeled with my name, already open, already active. And the last message sent wasn't from me or her, it was from someone saved as Big Daddy. And it just said, "I heard what happened. Call me. Now." The second I saw that name pop up on my phone, Big Daddy. I knew the situation wasn't just messy anymore, it was layered, like there were whole parts of my life being written without me even knowing. And Mia was just standing there holding my phone like she owned it, smiling like she'd been waiting for this exact moment. And I snatched it out of her hand so fast she didn't even react in time, my heart literally pounding in my ears as I opened the thread. And there were messages, a lot of them, but not from me, not in my tone, not in my words. It was like watching someone pretend to be me in real time, texting this older guy. Clearly older, the way he talked was all confident and calm and slightly controlling. About needing support, being tired of immature guys. And I felt sick because I had never said any of that. But whoever was texting him knew exactly how to sound believable. And I didn't even need to look up to know Mia was watching my reaction, like this was her favorite show. And Jaden was behind me trying to read over my shoulder like he was putting pieces together. And that's when I scrolled up and saw the first message that made everything click. It was from Mia pretending to be me saying, "My friend told me you're generous." And I swear my brain just froze because that meant this whole Big Daddy situation. She set it up. From the beginning. I turned around slowly and just looked at her, like really looked. And she didn't even try to lie this time. She just crossed her arms and said, "You're welcome." Like she just handed me a gift. And I was like, are you actually insane? Because she didn't just meddle in my relationship. She built a whole second one behind my back like some kind of weird backup plan. And she rolls her eyes and goes, "Relax, he's literally rich, not your little boyfriend rich, like actual lifestyle upgrade." And Jaden hears that and his whole face changes because now it's not just about me leaving him. It's about her comparing him like he's some starter pack, and I can feel the tension snap between them. But Mia doesn't care. She's too busy explaining her logic like this is normal, saying she did the work to connect me with someone better, someone who could actually provide, and I'm just standing there like you went behind my back. Hacked my accounts, faked messages, and started talking to an older man as me, and you think I'm supposed to be grateful? And then she says something that made everything worse, like instantly worse. She goes, "I mean, I had to test him first, obviously." And I blink like, what does that even mean? And she smirks a little and adds, "You don't just throw your best friend into something without checking if it's worth it." And my stomach drops because the way she said it didn't sound like she was talking about conversations. It sounded like she had actually met him. Like she inserted herself into something that was supposed to be about me. And before I can even ask, Jaden cuts in like, "So you've been talking to another guy this whole time?" And I turn on him so fast because now he's confused in the wrong direction. And I'm like, "No, she has," pointing directly at Mia. And she laughs again like we're both missing the point. And then she casually says, "Okay, but you didn't mind when I was helping you upgrade your life?" And I'm like, helping? You mean sabotaging? But Jaden is already pulling away emotionally. I can see it. Like he doesn't know who to believe anymore. And honestly, it doesn't even matter. Because at this point, I don't even care about defending myself to him. I care about figuring out what the hell she dragged me into. Then my phone buzzes again in my hand. Same contact, Big Daddy, calling this time. And Mia's eyes light up like she's been waiting for me to answer. And she leans in and whispers, "You should pick up, he already knows everything." And that sentence right there made my chest tighten because what does everything even mean in this situation? Everything she told him? Everything she pretended I said? And Jaden is watching me now, like this call is going to decide everything. And I hesitate for half a second before answering, because I need answers more than I need comfort right now. And the second I put the phone to my ear, a deep, calm voice goes, "Finally, I was wondering when you'd stop letting your friend speak for you." And I swear my entire body went still, because he didn't sound confused. He sounded fully aware. Like he already knew this wasn't me texting him before, and before I can respond, he adds, "We need to meet alone." And I glance up at Mia, and she's smiling way too hard, like she knows something I don't. Like this is all still going exactly how she planned it, and that's when the guy on the phone says one more thing that made everything 10 times worse. He goes, "And just so you know, you're not the first girl she's done this to." And I slowly lowered the phone, my heart racing again, because now this wasn't just about me. It wasn't even just about Jaden anymore. Mia had a pattern, a whole system, and I had just walked right into it without even realizing. And when I looked back at her, she tilted her head and said, "So are you finally going to trust me?" And I swear in that moment, I realized I didn't know this girl at all. But what I did next was probably the worst decision I could have made because instead of cutting her off right there, I told her, "Set up the meeting." The second I said set up the meeting, Mia's whole face lit up like she just won something, and that alone should have told me I was walking straight into a trap. But at that point, I didn't even care. I needed to see how deep this went, because clearly this wasn't just her being fake. This was her running some kind of weird operation with my life as the test subject. And she immediately grabbed her phone like she'd been waiting for permission, texting fast, smiling to herself, then looking up at me like, "He said tomorrow night, private place, dress nice." And the way she said dress nice gave me chills because it sounded less like advice and more like instructions. Like she was prepping me for something she already knew the outcome of. And Jaden was still standing there watching everything fall apart, asking me, "Are you serious right now?" But honestly, I was past explaining anything to him, because he already doubted me the second things got messy. And that told me everything I needed to know about where we stood. So I just looked at him and said, "Believe whatever you want," and walked away before he could respond. Because I wasn't about to argue my innocence while Mia was out here literally playing puppet master with my life. The next day felt unreal, like I was living in a situation that didn't belong to me. And Mia was texting me nonstop, sending outfit suggestions, telling me what to say, even reminding me to act soft, and don't ask too many questions at first. And that's when it hit me again. She had done this before. She knew exactly how these situations played out, and instead of backing out like a normal person, I leaned into it, because if she wanted to use me, I was about to flip it on her and figure out everything she'd been hiding. And, yeah, maybe that sounds dumb, but at that point, I was already too deep. When I showed up to the place she sent me, it wasn't just some regular restaurant. It was one of those quiet, expensive spots where everything feels too polished. Like people don't even laugh out loud in there. And I immediately felt out of place, but also hyper-aware, like every little detail mattered. And when I gave my name, the host didn't even hesitate, just nodded like they were expecting me, and that alone made my stomach twist because this was planned, fully planned. And when I walked into the private section, he was already there. And yeah, Mia wasn't lying about one thing. This man had money, like the kind of calm, quiet confidence that screams, "I don't need to prove anything." Older, put together, watching me like he'd already figured me out before I even sat down. And the first thing he said wasn't "Hi" or "Nice to meet you." It was, "You don't text like her." And I blinked because, okay, at least we're being honest now. And I sat down slowly, trying to keep my voice steady, and said, "That's because I didn't send those messages." And he just nodded like he already knew that. Like this wasn't new information. And that's when I realized something that made my chest tighten again. He had been playing along this whole time. Then he leaned forward slightly and said, "Your friend is very convincing, but she's predictable." And I swear I felt a mix of anger and embarrassment, because how many times had she done this for someone else to call it predictable? And before I could even ask, he added, "She approached me first, not for you, for herself." And yeah, that part hit harder than everything else, because it confirmed what I didn't want to admit. This was never about helping me. She wanted access. She wanted connections. She wanted money. And I was just her entry point. And suddenly every fake smile, every "girl, you deserve better," every time she showed up when I had something going for me, it all made sense in the worst way. Then he slid his phone across the table, and I hesitated for half a second before looking. But when I did, I saw messages that made my whole body go cold, because it wasn't just her pretending to be me anymore. It was her being herself, talking to him directly, flirting, setting up meetings, even saying things like, "I could bring my friend too if you're into that." Like she was literally offering me as an add-on to whatever situation she was building. And I felt sick, because that's not just fake friend behavior. That's straight up using someone like a prop. And I looked up at him like, "Why are you even showing me this?" And he just said, "Because you deserve to know who you're dealing with." And for a second, I almost believed he was on my side, until he said the next part. He leaned back, completely relaxed, and went, "But I'm still interested in you." And I just stared at him because, what? After all that? After exposing her? And he continues like it's normal, saying, "You're different from what she described, less naive." And I swear I didn't even know how to respond because now it felt like I was just being passed from one situation to another. Like I went from being manipulated by her to being evaluated by him. And that's when my phone buzzed again on the table, and I already knew it was her before I even checked. And when I opened the message, it said, "So how is he? Better than your little boyfriend yet?" And I slowly looked back up at the man across from me, then back at my phone, because suddenly everything clicked into place in the worst way possible. She didn't just set this up, she was expecting a specific outcome, like she already knew how this night was supposed to go, and the scariest part? I was starting to feel like no matter what I chose, I was still playing her game, and right as I was about to respond to her, another message came through. But this time it wasn't from Mia, and it wasn't from Big Daddy. It was from Jaden, and all it said was, "I know what she's doing now, and you're not going to like how I found out." That message from Jaden hit at the worst possible time. Like my brain was already juggling too many red flags, and now he's casually dropping, "I know what she's doing." Like that's supposed to calm me down. And I just stared at my phone for a second because how does he suddenly know anything when he was confused 5 minutes ago? And the guy across from me, yeah, Big Daddy, was watching my reaction like he was studying me, not even pretending to look away. Just calm, observant, like he already knew this was coming too. And that made everything feel even more off. Like I was the only one catching up in a situation everyone else understood. I didn't answer Jaden right away because I needed to stay focused. So I locked my phone and looked back at the man in front of me and said, "You said she's predictable, so what exactly is she trying to do?" And he gave this small smile like he was waiting for me to finally ask the right question. Then he goes, "She builds access, money, connections, status, through people who don't realize they're being used." And I felt my jaw tighten because that's literally been my entire experience with her lately. And he continues, "First she studies you, then she inserts herself into your life when you're about to level up. Then she creates dependency or chaos so she can control the outcome." And I just sat there like, wow, so I wasn't crazy. This wasn't random. This was a pattern, a system. And I was just the current project. Then he added something that made my stomach drop again. He said, "You weren't even her main target." And I blinked like, "Excuse me?" And he nods slightly toward my phone and says, "He was," meaning Jaden. And suddenly everything rewired in my head because it made sense. Her sudden interest, the way she showed up only when he was around, the flirting, the fake concern. It wasn't about me at all. It was about getting to him. And when that didn't go exactly how she wanted, she pivoted and built a second option using me as the bridge, and I felt this wave of anger hit me so hard I had to grip the edge of the table just to stay calm because the level of disrespect? Insane. And then, like the universe wanted to make things worse, my phone buzzed again, this time multiple messages from Jaden back to back, and I finally opened them, and the first one said, "She's done this before." And my chest tightened because okay, now we're getting somewhere. Then the next message, "I talked to someone she used to be friends with." And I leaned forward slightly, heart racing, because this was confirmation. Real confirmation outside of just me and this guy sitting here. And then the last message came through, and I swear my whole body went cold reading it, because it said, "She didn't just go after their boyfriends, she ruined their lives after." And I immediately looked up at the man across from me like I needed him to tell me that wasn't true. But he didn't even look surprised. He just nodded slowly like, "Yeah, that tracks." And I felt this heavy silence fall over everything, because now it wasn't just messy drama anymore. This was serious, like long-term damage type serious. And for the first time since all of this started, I felt something shift inside me. Not confusion, not shock clarity. I wasn't about to keep reacting to her moves like a victim in her little game. I needed to flip it completely, and I looked down at my phone again, at her last message asking if he was better than my little boyfriend. And instead of ignoring it, I typed back, "Yeah, way better, you were right," and I hit send before I could overthink it. And the second it delivered, the man across from me raised an eyebrow slightly like he knew I just made a move, and he said, "Interesting choice." And I just leaned back in my chair and said, "She wants a game? I'll give her one." Because at this point, I didn't even care about playing nice anymore. I cared about ending whatever she thought she was building. But of course, nothing is ever that simple. Because not even 10 seconds after I sent that message, Mia replied instantly. Like she had been waiting for me to say exactly that. And her response was just one sentence. But it made my heart drop again because it said, "Good, because he's not the only one I set you up with." And I slowly looked up from my phone, my mind already racing through worst-case scenarios. Because what do you even mean, not the only one? And before I could even process it fully, another unknown number started calling me right then and there, over and over. Like whoever it was not planning to stop until I picked up. And the guy across from me glanced at my phone, then back at me, and said something that made everything feel 10 times worse. He goes, "If I were you, I'd answer that." And I hesitated for half a second before swiping to accept the call, bringing the phone to my ear, and the second I did, a voice on the other end said my name like they already knew me, then laughed softly and said, "So you're Mia's new project, huh?" The way he said Mia's new project made my stomach drop in a completely different way than everything else had, because up until now it felt like chaos. But this? This sounded organized, like I just got added to some list I never signed up for, and I stayed quiet for a second trying to process. But he kept talking like we already knew each other, like, "Don't worry, I'm not calling to mess anything up, I just figured you deserve a warning." And I glanced at the man sitting across from me. Yeah, Mr. Big Daddy. And he was watching me closely again, like he was trying to read every reaction before I even spoke, and that made me even more aware that I was still being observed from every angle. I finally asked, "Who is this?" And he let out a small laugh like I should already know, then said, "Someone who didn't get out of her little game fast enough." And yeah, that line right there? That confirmed everything Jaden said and everything the guy across from me hinted at. And suddenly, this wasn't just about exposing Mia. It was about figuring out how far she was willing to go and how many people she'd already dragged into this mess. He kept talking, explaining fast but calm, like he didn't have time to waste, saying Mia finds people through mutuals. Social media, anywhere she can, studies them, figures out what they want, money, attention, status, and then builds situations where she can insert herself and control the outcome. And I felt this weird mix of anger and embarrassment again because how did I not see this sooner? And then he dropped something that made my chest tighten again. He said, "You're not even at the worst part yet." And I literally froze because what do you mean, worst part? And before I could ask, he goes, "She doesn't just connect people, she records everything." And I swear my heart skipped because that changed everything instantly. Like now this isn't just manipulation, this is leverage, this is blackmail level messy. And I slowly sat back in my chair, trying to keep my voice steady as I asked, "Records what exactly?" And he didn't hesitate, just said, "Calls, messages, meetups, anything she can use later." And I felt sick because if that's true, then every moment since she started acting weird could have been documented, twisted, saved for later. And the man across from me finally spoke again, low and calm, saying, "That's why I stopped playing along." And I turned to him like, "Okay, so you knew and still stayed involved?" But before I could even question him, the guy on the phone added, "She builds pressure, then waits for the right moment to flip everything on you." And I immediately thought about the fake messages, the rooftop setup, this dinner, everything stacking up like pieces of a bigger plan. And for the first time, I actually felt a little nervous, not scared, just aware that I wasn't fully in control yet. Then the voice on the phone lowered slightly and said something that made my grip tighten on the phone. He goes, "And if she thinks you're useful, she won't let you go easily." And that sentence just sat there for a second because it wasn't dramatic, it wasn't exaggerated, it was just real, and that made it worse. I ended the call slowly, my mind racing, and looked back at the man across from me. And before I could even say anything, he asked, "So do you still think this is about your friend being jealous?" And I let out a quiet breath because yeah, we were way past that. And I said, "No, I think she's been planning something bigger." And he nodded like that was the answer he expected, then leaned forward slightly and said, "Good, because that means you might actually survive it." And I raised an eyebrow. Like survive? Okay, now we're doing a lot, but before I could respond, my phone buzzed again, and I already knew it was Mia. But this time when I opened the message, it wasn't just her being messy or sarcastic, it was a photo, and the second I saw it, my chest tightened because it was a screenshot of me sitting right here at this table from across the room, clearly taken just seconds ago, and underneath it she sent one line. "You look comfortable, don't forget who put you there." And I slowly lifted my head, scanning the restaurant, my heart starting to race again, because that meant she wasn't just texting. She was here watching, and before I could even process that fully, another message came in right after it. And this one made everything 10 times worse because it said, "Turn around." My heart was already racing, but that second message, "Turn around," hit different, like cold water down my spine. And for a split second, I really thought about not doing it. Just staying exactly where I was and pretending I didn't see it. But curiosity and anger won. So I slowly turned my head, and there she was, sitting across the restaurant like she'd been there the whole time, legs crossed, drink in her hand, smiling like this was some kind of show she paid to watch. And I swear something in me snapped right then because the level of control she thought she had over this situation? Insane. She raised her glass slightly when our eyes met, like a little cheers moment, and I turned back around immediately because I wasn't about to give her the reaction she wanted. But inside I was done playing confused, done reacting, done being 2 steps behind, and the man across from me noticed the shift instantly. He leaned in a little and said, "She enjoys watching it unfold." And I nodded slightly because, yeah, clearly, and that's when I made a decision that probably changed everything. I picked up my phone, opened her messages, and instead of arguing or asking questions, I typed, "Come sit with us," and hit send. And the second it delivered, the man across from me raised his eyebrow again, like I just did something bold, or stupid. But either way, it got his attention. And across the room I saw Mia glance down at her phone, then look back up at me slowly, her smile fading just a little like she didn't expect that move. Like I stepped off the script she wrote. And for the first time since this started, she hesitated. It was small, but I saw it, and that's all I needed. A few seconds later, she stood up, smoothed out her outfit like she was about to walk into a photo shoot, and started making her way over, calm, confident, but I could tell by the way her eyes kept flicking between me and him that she was recalculating in real time. And honestly, good. Let her feel what it's like to not be in control for once. She reached the table, looked at him first like she was checking his reaction, then looked at me and said, "Wow, bold of you." And I just leaned back in my chair and said, "You wanted me here, right? So let's not pretend." And the tension between all three of us was actually insane. Like nobody in that room was breathing normally anymore. And she slowly sat down next to me, way too close. Like she was trying to reinsert herself into my space again. But this time I didn't move. I just let her sit there and exist in the mess she created. Then she turned to him with that same fake soft voice she used before and said, "So, do you like her?" Like I wasn't even sitting right there, and he didn't even entertain it. Just looked at her calmly and said, "I like honesty." And I swear her expression flickered for half a second before she recovered, laughing it off like it was a joke, but I caught that. Then she leaned in closer to me and whispered, "You're doing a lot right now, careful." And yeah, that warning? It didn't scare me. It just confirmed I was finally pushing back in a way she didn't like. So I smiled slightly and said, "No, you've been doing a lot." And I turned my phone toward her, showing her the messages I saw between her and him. The ones where she was offering me like I was part of some deal. And her entire demeanor shifted just a little, like she didn't expect me to have access to that. And I said, quietly but clearly, "You really thought I wouldn't find out?" And for the first time since all this started, she didn't have an immediate comeback. But then she did something I didn't expect at all. She laughed, like, genuinely laughed, leaned back in her chair and said, "Okay, so now you know." Like it didn't matter. Like getting caught wasn't even part of the problem for her. And that threw me off for a second because what do you mean, so now you know? Where's the denial? The excuses? But then she leaned forward again, eyes locked on mine, and said something that made my chest tighten all over again. She goes, "Do you know why I picked you?" And I blinked because picked me? Like I was an option? And she didn't wait for me to answer, just continued. "Because you're easy to place." And yeah, that line? That line was meant to hit, and it did. But not in the way she expected, because instead of getting defensive, I just stared at her and said, "You mean you thought I was easy to control?" And the table went quiet for a second, because now it wasn't just tension, it was confrontation. Real confrontation. And she smiled again, slow this time, and said, "Same difference." Like she really believed that, like she really thought she had me figured out completely. Then my phone buzzed again, and I almost ignored it. But something told me not to, so I checked it quickly, and it was Jaden again. But this time it wasn't just a message, it was a file. And the caption said, "This is what she's been hiding." And I felt my heart pick up again, because at this point every reveal has been worse than the last. And Mia noticed the shift immediately, her eyes dropping to my phone like she was trying to read it upside down, and she said, "Don't open that here, way too fast, way too serious." And that alone told me everything I needed to know. So I looked right at her, held her gaze, and tapped the file anyway, and the second it started playing, her entire expression changed like she knew exactly what was about to come out, and it was bad. The second I tapped that file, the restaurant noise basically disappeared in my head like someone hit mute on the world. And I swear even Mia stopped breathing for a second, because whatever Jaden sent wasn't just a proof message, it was a compilation, like a whole timeline of screenshots, voice notes, and recordings labeled with dates. And the first clip opened with Mia's voice clear as day saying, "She won't notice if we keep it subtle." And I actually froze because that wasn't just manipulation anymore. That was planning. And I slowly looked up at her, and she was already staring at my phone like she knew exactly what was playing, like she had already seen this moment in her head before it happened. The man across from me didn't even react immediately. He just leaned back slightly like he was confirming something for himself, and I clicked the next clip and it was worse. Mia talking to someone else about placing me near useful people, like I was some kind of access point, not a person, and my stomach dropped because this wasn't random chaos. This was structure. And Jaden's message after the file finally came through saying, "She does this in cycles." And I felt my jaw tighten because he wasn't guessing anymore, he had receipts. Mia suddenly let out a small laugh, like she was trying to reset the room and said, "Okay, dramatic much? You really think a few edited clips prove anything?" And I turned the phone toward her and said, "You think I'm dumb enough to believe this is edited?" And she leaned forward, eyes sharper now, and said quietly, "You weren't supposed to see all of it." And that was the first time she actually slipped, because she didn't deny it. She just corrected the timing. The man across from me finally spoke again, calm as ever, and said, "You should stop talking." But he wasn't talking to me. And I looked at him because I didn't understand what he meant, and he added, "She's already triggered it." And I swear, I didn't even get to ask what it was before my phone buzzed again. This time from an unknown number. And it was a video call request. And Mia's face changed instantly like she recognized the number before I did. And she whispered, "Don't answer that." But for the first time I didn't listen to her. I hit accept. And the second it connected, I saw a dim room, and a voice I didn't recognize said, "So she finally broke protocol." And behind him on the screen were folders, dozens of them all labeled with names I didn't know. But one folder was highlighted in the middle. Mine. Mia stood up so fast her chair almost fell back, and for the first time since this started, she looked genuinely panicked. And she said, "You're not supposed to be involved." But the voice on the call just laughed and said, "You involved her the second you used her account again." And I looked at Mia because that was the first time I heard anything about accounts outside of just texting, and she avoided my eyes completely, and that silence said everything she didn't want to admit. Then the man across from me leaned forward and said something low that made my chest tighten again. "I told you she escalates when she gets exposed." and Mia snapped at him. You were supposed to stay out of this. And he finally turned to her and said, You lost control the moment she didn't play the script. The voice on the call interrupted again, calmer now, and said, We're going to reset this situation. And I frowned, like, reset? What does that even mean? And then he added, starting with her boyfriend. And my eyes immediately went to Jaden's last message still glowing on my screen, and I felt something in my stomach drop because now it wasn't just emotional chaos anymore. It felt coordinated at a level I was not supposed to be seeing. And Mia slowly turned toward me, voice quieter now, and said, You should have just stayed out of it. And for the first time she didn't sound confident, she sounded cornered. Then the call abruptly ended, and my phone immediately lit up again with one final message from Jaden. Run, she's not the top of this. For a full 5 seconds nobody spoke. Not me, not Mia, not even the man across from me. And that silence felt louder than everything that happened so far. Mia slowly sat back down like her legs gave out a little, and she stared at me like I had done something wrong by existing in the middle of this, and then she whispered, You don't understand what you just got pulled into. And I let out a short laugh because honestly, she was right. I didn't understand, but I was definitely starting to see the shape of it. My phone buzzed again immediately, but this time it wasn't a message or a call. It was a location ping sent automatically, and it showed my current location already shared with 2 other devices I didn't recognize. And that's when the man across from me finally stood up completely like he'd made a decision and said, You need to leave. Now. And I looked at him like, Wait, what do you mean leave? And he grabbed his jacket and added, This stopped being about friendship the second she linked your identity to external access points. And I stared at Mia because I needed her to deny it, to laugh, to say this was all some weird misunderstanding again. But she didn't. She just looked down at the table and said, I tried to control the outcome. Like that explained anything, and I felt my chest tighten because she was admitting it in pieces, not all at once. Then the man leaned in slightly and said, She didn't build this alone. And Mia shot him a look like he crossed a line, and he continued, And you already spoke to one of them. And my brain immediately flashed to the Big Daddy guy, and suddenly I felt sick, because that meant this was bigger than just Mia's obsession or manipulation. It was connected to something organized, and I finally said it out loud. So what is this? Like a group? And Mia gave a small bitter smile and said, It's not a group, it's a system. And that word hit wrong in my stomach because systems don't form around random drama. They're structured, maintained, repeated. My phone buzzed again, but this time it was a voice message from Jaden, and I hesitated before pressing play. And his voice came through shaky for the first time, saying, She's not just doing this to you, she does it to anyone who gets close to something she wants access to. And I looked at Mia, and she didn't even deny it anymore, just sat there like she was done pretending. Then Jaden added one last thing that made everything collapse into place. And she's not the one who taught her how. I slowly lowered my phone, because that meant Mia wasn't the top of this either. And that's when my screen lit up again with a new unknown contact calling me, labeled only as the real source. And before I could even decide whether to answer, Mia reached across the table and grabbed my wrist for the first time, staring directly at me and said, Don't pick up. If you do, you stop being a target and start being part of it.